Come on in,
Good
because it's Winning
morning.
Wednesday. It is a Winning Wednesday. This is the Empowered Morning Show, and I'm here with my girls, honey. These ladies are the ones that come through and help a sister out in the mornings. We all come together and help you, help yourself have a amazing day because it's a beautiful day to be empowered. So, ladies, how are y'all this morning?
I'll let Sparkle go.
All I do is win one, win it. All I do is win one, win it, win one, win it. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. That's how I feel this morning. I feel like a wake up, even though I was sleeping. So the sweet sleep was
Mhm.
sweeting. Let me tell you, that good sweet sleep was doing the sweetness.
Oh, that is too funny. Listen, and you'll be able to enjoy it for 2 months. Well, the rest of this month and next month. So,
So, what beach can Tasha? I might end up on the beach with you.
Come
Like
on now.
you,
Come on
you,
down.
ne-
Can't
you
wait.
never know. You never know. Me and the blood just keep on going. You never know. You never. And I have some credit for with Southwest. You never
Oh,
know.
see where the wind blows.
oh,
I
I know, right? Good morning, Miss Phyllis. Good
just
morning,
I
Cynthia
just want to
Lewis.
enjoy this summer, reset my mind, put my focus on God. That when your thought come, that is a Holy Spirit thought instead of your thought. Like
Mhm.
I want to get to that point where those crazy thoughts can't even come through. Like the gate is not even
Close.
over.
Oh, God.
Yes, because resting in His arms, t- resting in Him, it's worth the wait when you can rest with Him. Like it's not that wait is crazy when you resting with you because you go cuckoo, you,
You're
you
all over the
cuckoo for
place.
cocoa puffs. You talk to somebody at 5 a.m. and you fine. By 7 a.m. you cuckoo again. Like
That's a lot. That's a lot. Natasha, did you get to say how you doing this morning, ma'am?
I am doing well, and this
sorry.
conversation is
Oh,
just taking
no.
me to another level. So I agree with Sparkle. I mean, I was just sleeping so well, and I just didn't want to get out of that bed. But I got to tell you, when I get with you ladies and we start talking, the vibration rises, the energy rises, and I'm just so full of gratitude for my life. So
Amen to that.
Gratitude.
And it doesn't, it helps a lot that, Sparkle has her bell. And so she can ring it and hit it. And it gets you into that, okay, let me wake up, let me rise and shine.
That
it's even
because you
crazy.
remember, didn't we just talk about not too long the wake up? You gotta wake up from just being average.
Well,
Wake up.
Yes, yes, wake up. Um,
Wake up.
yes, and how you wake up matters. You know what I'm saying? Like you can ease into the day because I mean, really and truly, that's what they recommend. Like when you wake up with gratitude, wake up easing into your day. When you stand up, stand for a minute and get strong on your legs and get grounded. We always, if you're not jumping, if you're not waking up and grabbing your phone and scrolling and seeing all that stuff, then you're jumping out of bed. So we need to normalize, wake up and appreciate the day, and then take your time and whatever you have to do it in a manner where you're not pressed, where you're not rushed, where you're not, normal. calm your center down. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself together.
Let the nervous system
I get
sit
up and
down.
hear the morning show, even on my days off. Oh yes.
Oh,
Look at Cynthia coming through.
come on,
Yes.
Cynthia. What,
Yes.
I mean, I know I'm going to just say it. Cynthia's growth. I mean, her growth is
Top tier.
like how
Yes.
she has
It is,
grown.
baby.
You know, it's like
Becoming
a so.
her.
Yes, like she start, and I know she was a grown woman before she started, but she a grown woman that is out here living life in its abundance. The
Yes.
girl goes
Traveling
on real trips,
Look,
like
traveling out the country and everything, getting them
oh my,
passport
you don't know
stamps.
where you might find
Where you do it.
Cynthia.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
getting
tell her a little
passport
secret, but
stamps.
because you know the day I was out there playing in the rain, nobody wanted to join me, but guess who joined me? Cynthia went on out there in that rain with me and was out there having a good time.
Nice.
Because when you just free, you don't even care. Like what they think.
She said, "Honey, she feels it, and it's free, baby. It's a top tier level of being free when you can exist without worrying about validation from everybody else.
Yeah.
And when we are talking about healing for real, that's the place in the space we need you to start moving towards. If you're not there yet, because 80% of America is probably in the same space that you're in, if not more. So
probably more.
I would say more.
Probably more. I would say 95. Have you been to the store lately? That would tell you.
look,
I mean,
go to the store.
Angela's husband goes to the store for her. So she doesn't know. She just says, baby, I want this. I want
just
that.
seen a good list yesterday. He was like, I'm going to the store. What y'all need, baby? Me and my baby girl was like, that's what we need. Damn,
I'm telling you. That's the life. That's the life. That's the life.
Yes. So healing for real. Natashah and Sparkle said it is more than 80%. But people are in process of, we got to help. We're
trying to look it up.
Figure it out. We want to help you understand. I know, right? You already know who's good.
She was researching.
She was like, girl, wait a minute, I'm gonna get this number.
I'm all about stats. We got to bring people facts.
It's okay. You just said in general. I saw that phone. She was.
Look, I'm gonna throw it out there, girl, because I was just like, baby, hey, it's gonna get who's in the touch. Like this. What we're not gonna do is give you some false information.
No, because she does not. That's one thing. Now, if Natashah said
Natashah need to be in the political arena, girl. When they do the fact check, they look on the fact check with the political candidates. Like, now, wait a minute. And
hold on.
In 2016, you said.
Listen, this is going out there in the world, right? This is global, so we need to make
sure. They will pull a video back of you saying something in a minute. So, okay, so you're saying what now? So you do remember this video clip from 1984 when you said and play it.
And now
I think you owe the world an apology for.
See,
remember you said you weren't a cheater, but bam. 2021, you on kiss cam with this person that did. Bam, there you go.
Before you said you were healing for real. Were you really healing for real?
Were you really? I mean, because I found some not truth about that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or what about the people who says, like, okay, I've been through the 12-step program and I've got my little, thing, and I've had it. This is year 3, and then you turn around and you see them at the Quick Trip getting a bottle.
Don't you get me started on that. That's a whole other day and a whole other conversation, right?
I just said, listen, they be at the Quick Trip thing. I'm gonna run it real quick and just give me a little drink, because a little drink.
But isn't that when somebody see you when you think nobody's gonna see me? I just gonna run in here.
I don't even live on this side of town.
I already went way on the other side of town,
out of my way to make sure. As soon as you turn around, boop, there goes Sister Sonia.
It's that one.
And you know Sister Sonia on that telephone.
Baby.
Telephone before she.
always putting up her little
She already
thing.
took the picture.
How many years she been good? Girl, bye. Listen, I saw her and that man at the restaurant, and girl, it didn't look like her husband.
I don't think that was her husband. I know him. He ain't that big.
Oh my God, you guys are smart.
Sure. Then be all up in the church acting like she's so holy and
Hallelujah.
highly favored.
See?
That's why healing for real, Natasha. Let's break it down because me and Sparkle will cut up for the whole hour. Healing for real. Look, thank God we got
for
somebody
real.
here that help us get it together. Because y'all see, Natasha was like, I was looking for a statistic, and you done ran all the way with it. You didn't.
They messed me up because she was in. It went mentally. It immediately. I saw her do like it. I said, raise the head back up.
I think if you look at the mental health statistics, it will let you know it is a clear picture and it's clearly evident how many people are not healed or are not on a healing path.
Yeah.
And those are really scary numbers because in today's day and age, you have a lot of people who are functioning with depression and functioning with anxiety. And so they're walking around seemingly looking okay, or that because they're still going to work, they're still paying their bills.
What they said, what is it? A functioning depression?
Functioning.
Okay, how you have a functioning alcoholic, right?
Yes.
You have people who are functionally depressed and people who are functionally anxious, because people have learned to mask and hide.
Anxious.
So you have a lot of people now. So depression and anxiety, people have learned skillfully to hide their symptoms. So anxiety isn't always messing with your hair, biting your fingernails, sweating, and sort of a nervous Nelly all the time. Sometimes someone can have a clear, flat affect. They could be truly guarded, really quiet, very shy, but they are rattling off on the inside.
Right? I believe it.
Because I looked at a show, you know how you look at some of these shows on TV and you'll see somebody, they have flashbacks and they'll see something and they're triggered and they're like, and their heart is like, boom, boom, boom,
almost like frozen, right?
Outside, and they were like, you okay? Oh yeah, I'm good. And they're thinking like, oh my God, I'm about to have a panic attack right now. And then they catch me.
And a lot of us take a lot of pride in the fact that we can hide it from the world. Well, nobody really knows. They think that that's okay, but you're not healing. So coming back to why is healing so important? One of the key things is there is so much emotional freedom. There is just something about when you said earlier in the broadcast about not needing the validation of other people.
Not needing it.
For those of us who have been on that side of the healing journey and to be on the other side over here now, it is just the most. That's why when people look at Sparkle and she's so bright and she's so bubbly, because she's not waking up in the morning trying to figure out what she needs to do or how she needs to perform, or she's not allowing her emotions to get the best of her in order for her to know her worth and to know who she is and to be able to get through her day. Like that is just so emotionally weighted for many of us.
Yeah. And you think about the people who, when you are caught in that emotional cycle where, say you recently broke up with somebody and you weren't the reason or you weren't the person who wanted to break up, and you may have said, okay, cool, but behind closed doors, you are stalking their social media. You're looking to see. What do they post? Who's posting on there? I'm trying to see if it's somebody else. And you go through, or you're Inspector Gadget. You are still.
You not only hear you on the
you texting, who you calling,
on the friends.
Yes, you're calling the people and say, well, have you seen something? Have you seen John? Have you seen whatever? So we're doing a lot of things behind closed doors that you seem like you're pulled together, you're confident and everything is going well in your life. I love my job. I love, I'm in a good space. My finances are great. I can go out and do this. Behind closed doors, you are a mental mess. And because of that, that's why we talk about healing for real. Because the reality is, it's cute for you to act like you have it all together, but you're doing yourself a disservice by pretending that everything is well when you are seconds away from a mental breakdown. And the sad thing about that is it's more of a reality for a lot of people than not.
Yeah,
It's more of a reality for
it's
other.
a lack of self-awareness when we are not healed, or we're choosing not to heal, or we're trying to normalize the pain that we've experienced. um,
Mm-hmm.
we are less and less self-aware. And
Yeah.
what happens when you're not self-aware, you spend more time looking outside of yourself, and
Yeah.
that's where we become highly opinionated. That's where we become judgmental of others, very
Mm-hmm.
critical of others, what we think people should and shouldn't be doing. And it's like, how about we take our eyes off of what's external of us and focus more on what's going on with us, because there's a lot
Yeah.
more going on with us. And I know that the two of you can attest to this, that when you are working on healing for real, you emotionally mature. And with that emotional maturity comes emotional intelligence. I think another aspect is we look in the world where everybody wants to go to school, and everybody wants to get a degree, and everybody wants to get a license, and everybody wants all the academic accolades, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I know a lot of people who have a lot
Mm-hmm.
of academic book sense, and their emotional IQ
It's
is nowhere to
gone.
be found,
They
right?
live through school.
So
Like
you're
school is their addiction. They're
right,
Yes,
addicted
yes,
to
that is true.
education
because
because
the accolades gives you validation.
yeah,
Look at me, I got.
But do they? But do they really? Because at
not
the end
really.
of the
You know, you
day,
sitting
you
there
know,
here this educated, but you're torn up in the inside. You're because people don't understand the inside is what happens in life. Like that's the real happening. The inside, that's where your heart attacks, your strokes, your high blood pressure, your people can't
when
automatically
somebody
sit
says, "Oh
there.
my God, they just had a heart attack out of nowhere," but
Hmm.
no, they
Was it
didn't
out of
really,
nowhere?
because statistically, you start looking at the number of people who have, what we consider random heart attacks or random strokes, but really they've been under a lot of stress. They just hit it well, or you didn't realize, or other people project their stuff on you and you just internalize it. But you, like you said many times before, Natasha, you don't have anywhere for that to go.
To go.
And so it has to manifest itself somewhere, and that is stress on your internal organs. So when you start having cramps, or you start having, twinges, or you start having, palpitations and stuff, and we brush it off so quickly, but the reality of it is it should require you to think like, this is not normal. Maybe it's something else going on.
Well, that's where that self-awareness comes in, right? So it's not just a self-awareness of my emotional state, it's self-awareness of my physical state, my self-awareness state, right? It's that mind, body, spirit. We tend to not pay attention to things until we're in severe pain. And depending upon your pain tolerance, some of us will just ignore some things and just push it to the side. Like, I don't need to go to the doctor for that, or I don't need, you know, a simple thing like pain.
Yeah.
Immediately chalk it up to, well, okay, I have this injury, right? It was because of this accident. It was because I slept wrong. Yes, that is true to a degree. But a lot of us who are carrying a lot of stress, that pain now is exacerbated as a result of that stress that you have.
Yeah.
It's not just about sleeping wrong. It's not just about that old injury, because something, the way that the body's designed, I could have had. So I had I fell and damaged the L5 or the L4 in my spine when I was about 14 years old. Now today, even though that problem has, I would say, rectify itself, because I'm not on medications or anything, if I am not working out steadily and it rains outside, my body starts to hurt, right?
Because your
Mhm.
body has memories, baby. Your body will remember something that happened years ago.
It
And
doesn't forget.
even if it's not raining, on my most stressful days,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I'm fine, my back will tell me
We'll
otherwise.
be like, no, you're not.
Wow.
Correct.
Isn't
Right?
that something though? But Natasha,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. Let me. I was reading an article, and I think I sent it to you guys. But when you talk about self awareness, it was talking about how a lot of times people, when they get 60 and older, they start having less friendships, right? And
Hmm.
so, they said a lot of times people say, "Oh, girl, they just mean and honorary," or girl, they
Yes.
just
They
whatever.
put it with meanness.
They blame it on them, on that person. But basically what it was saying is that these people for years have been the one that carries the relationships. They're the one that call and check and make sure you're good. They're the ones that listen to you when you call them at 2 o'clock in the morning, whining and crying and blowing snot because this man had left you, or you don't know where he's at, or the children are going through stuff. And so you're absorbing all of this. So you're sending graduation gifts. You're showing up for this. You're ripping and running and doing all these things for everybody else, but it's not reciprocal. So by the time you start getting older, your bank that holds all this information has gotten full to where you say, don't call me and tell me nothing else because I could care less about you and your little children.
That bank account is empty.
It is done. And what they do is, so just pay attention. Like, you know how sometimes you think somebody may ask you, like, how is such and such? And you may think, like, you know what, I haven't talked to them in a minute. Sometimes when you are the initiator, if you don't initiate, it just kind of fades on off. And so that's where a lot of them, not being self-aware to realize that I'm like somebody's dumping thing. I mean, they never ask me how I am. It's always telling me how they are, what's going on with them. And I've handled it. But as I'm getting older, I don't want to do that anymore.
Now the handling is less.
For some, getting older it breeds wisdom.
It comes with a lot of wisdom.
Yes, and that's what the article was saying. It brings wisdom because now you realize I don't have to let somebody dump all of their emotional insecurities and emotional manipulations and their, mess with me. And it's not that you don't care or love them, but you just decide that I love me too much to let that break me down.
That part, though, I love me too much. Yeah. That's when you understand your value. Your value, you are no longer on the clearance rate. Hey, Stephen, you up your value. As the wisdom comes, my value comes. So I'm like a diamond.
As your self-awareness increases, as your self-worth, as you heal, you realize, I deserve more. I deserve better. And if it means that I leave up out of here with 2 or 3, and simply say yes, that part. Go ahead, Natashah, because I know you was going to.
I was going to say, even if you leave with none, but in this healing journey, we don't have to necessarily wait till we're older and wiser.
Exactly.
Right. I think for a lot of us, I know myself personally, like what I know today at almost 50, I wish I had known when I was 20.
Oh,
yes.
But I don't know if I wouldn't have known what to do with it.
Sure. So I was getting ready to say that next part is, but I also had to go through life. I had to experience it because I believe everything in life happens for purpose and there's something to learn from it. So if I'm willing to learn from my experiences, that's where my wisdom is going to come from.
Yeah.
If I'm not willing to learn from the experience, I'm not going to breed wisdom. And so I'm not going to get to that place like you're talking about in the article where I come to realize my worth, my value, my time, right? And there's nothing wrong with listening. I think we get so caught up, and this is the difference between that attachment and connection that I've been talking about. If it like,
yes,
right? And whatever the relationship is, and somehow we have this belief and this responsibility to take on what somebody's giving to you.
Yes.
And we don't have to do
and
that.
And then you so heavy.
Because Cynthia just said, absolutely, you're not doing the drama anymore. You get to a place in your life where you realize, baby, I got to have, my peace is non-negotiable. Yes. So when you come over here with all that, I don't need all that rah-rah and hoop-ha and all that, and you going through what? And you too old to still be doing that. Miss Phyllis says, so true on this side of 60. When you get to that point in your life, and typically for a lot of people, I think you start becoming more aware of it around 50, 60. You start becoming more aware.
I think it's sometimes it's 40.
And sometimes it's 40. Yes,
how hard your life has been.
I think 40 is the beginning of the awareness, and it takes a little bit of time for you to put a hard stop. You know how sometimes you may be like, okay, I got a hard stop at 7:30.
Yes.
And then you go. You know what I'm saying? Whether you ready or not. I told you I had a hard stop at 7:30. Boop, I'm out. Yes. But a lot of times, at 40, you may say, I have a hard stop at 7:30. And then you're like, it's 7:37. And you're like, it's 7:42. Then you're like,
I'm probably going to stop at 7. Like,
yes,
my hard stop is 7:42, but I'm probably going to start at 7. Because I remember being younger me being
Mm-hmm.
upset that nobody invites me to stuff. Like, why don't I get invitations? Why don't nobody want me to come along? Then I'm like on the other side. Oh, thank you, God, that you did not
Girl,
invite
when you
me.
be like,
I'm
oh, I hope
so
they don't
glad
invite
I
me there
wasn't
because I'm
there.
trying to stay at home today, baby. I'm not trying to go anywhere. Don't ask me. Don't call me. Don't whatever. You going where? Girl, enjoy yourself. Did you want to go? I didn't. I don't.
I didn't. I mean, but you used to see and you're like, why don't I get the invitation? Well, sometimes the reason why you're not getting the invitation is because your aroma, what you put off, who you are, don't nobody want to put up with that.
I don't want to be bothered with stuff. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When you want to have a nice, a nice time without somebody coming in and being in control or trying to run it or trying to take it over or trying to insert, what they think should be the right way to do it. Because the reality is, for a lot of, especially women, I'll say probably more women than men, but you
Especially
know how
women.
you hear women that always says, well, what's wrong with me? Nobody asked me out, or in dating, or like, why
Yeah,
am I by myself and all that? And you start questioning who you are versus saying, I'm going to be the
yeah.
best version of me with or without somebody. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, I'm still okay.
And that's
Because your
still great.
identity should be in God. Like Stephen said, peace comes from God, not a significant other. So if you never have a significant other,
But you do have a significant other. Like, that's what I want people to get. Like, you don't have, maybe not the physical, but you have that because God has you on assignment. Like, people don't understand, if God wanted you to be married, He's God. He can do just that. It's some work that He requires for you to do as a single person that He wants the assignment to get done, but you over here still begging for a man or a woman, and He's saying, can you complete your assignments?
you want
See,
you want the titles and the degree. We
I
just say you
can't
want
even give you
the titles.
the vision of it because you can't accept who you are, where you're at, and complete these assignments. That's and you look at women that they get married at 70 years old, 80 years old. I think that is so beautiful because obviously they completed some assignments and God said, I did not forget about you. I know you bugged me for 500 years about this man. Here he come. Like it's understanding who God is to you. And the quicker we do the assignment and just shut up and complete the assignment, we get to move on to the next one.
well, this comes back to today's topic. If we focus on healing ourselves from the inside out and
Mm-hmm.
become more emotionally intelligent, then we will be able to have a connection with the Lord that allows us to understand what you just said. Because a lot of people are so focused in the flesh and how to feed the flesh and I want what I want when I want it kind of thing. Many of us don't realize that we're really just not ready to receive things, right? You talk about, whether you're single and you're looking for a man or you're looking for a woman, whatever that situation may be. But are you really ready to honor that relationship?
Are
Are
you?
you ready to have for each of you to have autonomy in the relationship and to share in that relationship? Are you ready to allow God to move and lead
Yes.
that relation? Like there's so many things that come into that partnership that a lot of us aren't thinking about. We just want somebody because we want attention. We don't want to be alone. We don't want this. We don't want that. You know what I mean? We have this running to-do
Yeah.
list of such
Yes.
we think a man or a woman should be in our lives, and it's like,
They're
again,
like, I want, you think about the list. I want a man so that I have somebody be a handyman. Who said he gonna be a handyman? Like,
Well, I mean, but you don't need a man for that because it's people who specialize and have businesses for that. You can hire
look,
someone for
I
that.
still I will get on my brother's nerves. And probably before, like, what if he's a businessman and he don't get his hands dirty like that? Like,
what about
But
what
I'm
about
saying
if
it's
I
people
also
who
what
that's
if I
like
also but what if I also learn on how to maybe do it myself? Is that a possibility?
it
Because
is, or you can. It's people out here who that's their
YouTube
job.
University.
That's what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't want to mow your
Yes.
grass, it's people
right.
out here who are professional
Go
lawn
mow
care
the
people.
grass.
Hire them. But I'm gonna go back to when we talked about like, are you ready? So some signs that you need to grow in emotional intelligence include If you constantly take things personal, you might need to grow in emotional intelligence. If you have difficulty accepting feedback,
Keep
you
ringing
might
that
need
bell.
to grow.
Keep ringing that bell, Sparkle. Keep ringing the
You
bell.
might need to, grow in emotional intelligence. If you have frequent emotional outbursts where you just nut up and start cussing people out, or you just bust out crying, or you
I
just,
had one the other day.
you might need emotional
But it's not
intelligence.
frequently. But I did have one.
If you hold grudges,
Oh,
you might need to grow in
that
emotional
was good.
intelligence. If you have poor listening habits, you might need to grow in emotional
Ready to
intelligence.
respond. Listen to respond.
Yes, and you
Not
don't even really
listen.
know what they said because you're waiting to get out what you have to say. If you always need to be right, if somebody can tell you something, you say, well, I know what you're saying, but, and you still got to be right, you might need to grow in
Oh,
emotional
and it's
intelligence.
always a but.
Yes,
I get it, but.
you the queen of the bus. You Mrs. or Mr. But that's you. All caps. The last one is if you're struggling with forgiveness, you might need to grow in emotional intelligence.
That one.
If
Like
you're
that should have been at the top.
struggling with forgiveness, and that's both ways. If you're struggling forgiving somebody else, or you struggling
Forgive yourself.
forgiving yourself.
I'm going to take you one. I'm going to take you one more because it just happened to me as a client. How about we need to ask for forgiveness from God because many of us are resentful to God. Many of us have feelings toward
Come
God
on.
because our life is turning
We
out
are
the way
some
we want
mad
it.
at God
You
people.
mad at God because he took somebody you love. You mad at God because the man that you was gonna spend the rest of your life with left off with old girl. You mad at because I was just looking at somebody sent me something and I had no idea, but it was about Gail King and they were saying that she caught her husband with a friend. She was supposed to be on a business trip. It got canceled. She came home early, and old girl and her they were in her house. Kids were there
Kids
playing
was
house.
there?
Yeah. Yes.
See,
So
see.
you know that things happen and they're serious, and for a lot of people, you don't know how to deal with that or get over it or forgive. There's people who have murdered people that somebody loves and they struggle. And I know forgiveness is a hard thing, or they're mad at God. Like, how did what I'm saying? Like, this was a good person. They were out here living their life, or it was a young person. They had their whole life in front of them. Why would you do that? It is probably more than we realize. More people mad at God about something than
Big
Willing
mad at
to admit
God.
that they're unwilling to admit.
Yeah.
So
That part.
something I've learned in the work that I do is that when people are struggling to let go, when people the whole let go, let God and or surrender, or they keep getting in their own way, I have learned time and time again is because they have an issue with God. And my first order of business is take your issue with God to God and start there before you even, because what happens is you put up this imaginary wall between you and the Lord. And so you're not even positioned to receive whatever he has for you because you're too focused on what you didn't give me or what you took away or whatever the issue might be. And a lot of us, I know a lot of people don't like when I go here, but there's a lot of us that are out there that are going to church and reading the Bible and want to spit out scripture to people. But at the end of the day, you yourself have your own issues with the Lord. And that comes back to self-awareness. That comes back to that emotional maturity that we're talking about. Emotional intelligence, a very key thing in emotional intelligence is being able to be aware of your emotions. And the definition.
Being aware of
right? Being aware of my emotions, because when I'm not aware of my emotions drive my behavior. My emotions stem from my thought process.
Yeah. What was I saying this morning? Like, I want thoughts.
So if I am not aware of my emotions, that means I am not aware of what my thought patterns are, and I'm not able to control my behavior because my emotions is driving it. So I want everyone to imagine your emotions is in the driver's seat. Your physical body is not in the driver's seat. You're now a passenger in your own body and in your own life because you're not aware of your emotions and how you allow your emotions to get the best of you. I was talking to somebody yesterday and they were frustrated with something external of themselves. And I said, well, what's really driving the frustration? I said, what is it about you? What's coming up for you? And the person had a very difficult time, to the point that they got defensive, because they're like, well, it's not about me. But it is about you. If you're
It,
allowing something external of you to infiltrate you and to ruffle your feathers,
it's about you.
it's about you. You're allowing that to happen. So that is just one example of a lack of emotional awareness. And when I'm not aware, I want to now blame everybody else. Well, you did this, you did that, you should have done this, you should have done that. And at the end of the day, I'm now taking inventory of somebody else's behavior, which is not my job. I am not God, and that is not my position, right?
Natasha, let me ask you this, because I think what I'm just realizing is that a lot of times people don't understand or recognize it in themselves because they have a limited recognition of what emotions are. Because
Very,
I'm
very
looking
much
at,
true.
I just looked to see how many, and even here they say there are 27 distinct categories of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, the average person, if you talk to them about emotion, they probably like, well, I'm not mad, I'm not sad, I'm not.
Because they think those are the only two.
Yes, yes. So I think that, you know what, this is really actually really good to even go deeper, because again, you can't heal from what you don't reveal or that you are not aware of. If you only think that there's five major emotions, like I'm not angry, oh, I'm not mad. Somebody says, oh, you mad? I'm not mad. Well, maybe it's another emotion here that's playing,
Well, so
and you feel like because it's not, you're not mad that
And your whole, that emotion that is sitting all over your face, your whole face says, but you're trying to convince, now you're trying to convince yourself that you're not mad.
and it's not just in your face. It taps in your body.
Yes,
You get
like
the
you
tightness
move,
in your
like
neck.
that stomp that you stomping out.
oh, girl, there's so many of them. I'm
So,
talking about even things that people never even like. We may think, oh, I'm not enraged, or I'm not angry, or annoyed, or boredom is on here. You may think of
Empathy, that
fear,
empathy, that
surprise, distraction, grief, sadness. I mean, we think of those things, but it's so much more than that.
so
And
I encourage people to think of your emotions like peeling back an onion. And so when you talk
mm-hmm,
about so there's these five, I don't know that it's five because I'm trying to imagine. If you look up a feelings wheel, it's open to the public. You can go on Google and find one. On a feelings wheel, you'll have your typical sad, um, angry, happy, and I want to say, I think it's
happy, sad, fear, anger, disgust, and surprise are
right.
the six
Now,
primary.
six parameter, and under each one, there's usually somewhere between four to another six emotions underneath each category. So it's like a
mm-hmm,
category of emotion.
okay,
It's almost
Yes.
like you're rating it, right? So I might not be angry, but when someone says to me they're frustrated, right?
that's the emotion.
It falls right under anger. So you may not be at the top of you may not be in a heightened state, but you're still there.
But you're
So
still in that emotional
correct,
wheelhouse. So it even
correct.
says, Natasha, about complex emotions. Anxiety is a complex emotion. Guilt,
Uh-huh.
curiosity, interest, embarrassment or shame, and contentment. Those are a little bit more complex because you think of the top. Say, if you say, okay, well, I'm either happy or sad, but contentment can be a middle area, I guess,
So
level.
I just tell people anger, depression, anxiety, um, are more what we call secondary emotions. They're more
Mhm.
symptomatic,
Got it.
right? So everybody's quick to say, "How you feel?" I'm anxious. Okay, well, that's not really a feeling. You are experiencing
That's an
symptoms
action.
of exactly. You're experiencing symptoms of it, right?
Mhm.
But tell me how you're really feeling underneath that. And what you will find is someone who is scared. You'll find someone who is and scared and fear are two different emotions, by the way. They're
It's
not one and the
it's too
same.
different and nervous, right?
Correct. Right? So you have to be able to peel back the layers. Everybody, it's again, we are living in such a fast-paced, shortcut world. oh, I'm anxious. Everybody all of a sudden in this
Is
world is
anxious.
anxious. Everybody.
And you know what? That used to not be a buzzword, but I remember
Exactly.
in the
I don't
90s,
remember that as a
maybe in
child, like
2000 or something,
anxious.
but yeah, in the 80s and when I was younger, I never
But
remember
you know what
anybody.
happened is people became more educated. So they started learning bigger words
Did they?
because my grandmother wouldn't have never said no anxious. She would have been
Well,
sitting.
I think that because we started doing more reality TVs and we started doing things, to see people, because in your world, you didn't really see people out here anxious and stressed out. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? We just didn't really see it on that level. Now it's like common to show that you're anxious and
Like your
Everybody's
whole
anxious.
YouTube channel would blow
But
up.
here's a beautiful part, right? So we've caught on to everybody's anxious. Can we catch on to healing ourselves and calming
And
our
we
nervous
catch
system?
on to the
because
other part
healing
of it.
yourself is not entertaining, Natasha, but being
No,
anxious and
it's
overwhelmed and fearful and violent.
because
Because think
it brings
about it. When you're
attention.
healing, you're quieter. Like you're not on roll.
It's not
So my
chaos and
YouTube
drama
channel is gonna
surrounding
go
you.
down
Right.
because I'm not over here and she and you're not
Chaos
you're
and drama sell.
self-aware that something going on with you, cuckoo. Sit down today. Don't get on there. But people reaction like, oh, I'm mad. Let me hurry up and show everybody how mad I am.
Hmm. Yeah, it just it's
I'm
crazy to
sad.
me.
Like when you get on a social media to cry, like you purposely turned on your camera now we all get emotional state, but you're crying from the very beginning of your statement. Maybe you should get yourself together. Maybe that's a you thing. You need some things for you. But where that's the like you said, the reality is I'm transparent. I don't hide. I'm transparent about everything about me. I'm real. I
But
would
you know
tell
what?
you.
Even in saying that, that still doesn't mean that you're healing just because you say that. That's just how you are. Because that goes back to what Natasha says. Always been like this. I've just always, been a crier. I've always whatever. But you don't get down to the root cause of why you are always
Why
feeling
you're
like this. Why
Listen,
you always
someone can
anxious.
tell me that they're being transparent. I just have to look at your behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Behavior will tell me everything that I need to know about you. You can use all the big words and all the fancy words and tell me how transparent and authentic you are because people who are transparent and authentic, they don't need to tell you.
They don't have
They
to
just
make
need
that
to say
announcement.
something about it.
Absolutely.
Correct.
It's just like, when they talk about, like I love, like Law and Order or different things, when they do the lie detector test, there's some people who know
Oh
how
yeah,
to
me too.
regulate their breathing, regulate their, internal selves so that they can answer questions that they know are a lie and nothing
They
generates
study,
stress.
practicing.
They're able to do that. It's like how some people are just great test takers. Other people get so nervous and jacked up that they will mess a test up even when they know the
Mess, I
information
will jack it
Every
up.
time, every
every single time. Then you got people who don't know nothing, but they'll go in there and just say, "Child, yeah, I got this," and
we
they
were
just
just having a conversation about that, about there's some people out there in the world that are getting licenses in therapy that have no business being in therapy, but they're
right,
really good test takers.
right.
So,
And think about it. The world says as long as you can pass the test,
mhm.
as
Right.
long as you can get past the test, you get your license for whatever you've been trying to get. So as long as last night you spent all night long cramming and getting all the information in,
And you
we're
pay
not
your money.
asking you, do
Look,
you
and you pay your
understand the
money.
information?
Look,
Like, do you know the information? But can you circle the right number, the right letter?
right.
One of the things I wanted to add, and yes, Sparkle, I went to my fact sheet. When you're talking about emotional intelligence and emotional maturity, it's not we spend a lot of time talking about self-awareness. The other very important part is regulating emotion. When I'm
Mm,
aware of my emotion, we
it's
need to
self
recognize the
awareness.
power we have within ourselves to regulate that emotion. Because one of the things that, I hear a lot is that person made me mad. That
Yeah.
person made me blank. there is not a human being that walks this earth that can ever feel some type of way.
They have that much power.
They don't have that much. I say they don't. I would not give them that opportunity to even control me, because the minute I give away my power, now they get to control how I behave. Absolutely.
Mm,
Well, you know what, Natasha, a lot of people know your triggers because you have been so
mm-hmm.
open about it. Every time they push the button,
Transparent.
they already know what you're getting ready to do.
Transparent.
The person who is
Keep it real.
the person who knows how to not give you the response you're looking for, that's the person who's in power. So now you're in control, not being controlled. And I will get ready to say, Natasha, I'm finna throw out another statistic. So check me if I'm wrong. But I would probably say 90% of people are operating out of not being in control versus being in control.
Shoot, I would say 95.
Higher.
I would say
95%.
higher. And let
You
me
would say
let
higher
me
too,
clarify
Natasha?
something. Say it again.
You would say higher?
I would say higher. Yeah. And there's a difference between, there's a power control dynamic. So I think it's really important for us to understand that we hold power.
I
And
love
when-
Natasha be so smart. Yay!
And when we release power,
Did we
we're
just say
giving
it?
someone control. Right? So when we give away our power, and our superpower is our ability to regulate our emotions. Because when I can regulate my emotions, I can manage my thoughts and I can manage my behavior. So and in that totality, I get to have healthier relationships. I learn how to communicate more effectively. I learn how to diffuse conflict before conflict even arises. I learn to be able to make a clear distinction between what are my feelings and what are yours. So I don't have to be enmeshed and entangled with what's going on with you emotionally. I could hear you, but that don't mean I got to take on what's going on with you. And that doesn't mean I love you any less. It just means I love me just as much as I love you. So there's so much that's packed into emotional intelligence that I think we're asleep on it, right? I think a lot of us are just sleeping on it. Again, more focused on the accolades. Look at me, I graduated. Look at me, I got a degree. I'm going to tell you all right now, in my profession today, what I do, I didn't go to school for it. A lot of what I do today, a lot of my success isn't because of the degrees that I have.
Exactly.
Right? So, and I always say, Jesus came from a father who was a carpenter and he didn't have any degree.
Yep.
But he is the greatest counsel. He's the greatest teacher. He's the greatest provider.
Yes.
So while we're out here trying to get all these accolades and look at me and look at this and look at that, that does not mean that you have emotional intelligence, because they don't teach you that in school, which still blows my mind.
They do not.
They do
Right?
not. And I think that
close.
should have been an elementary class.
Yep. Right?
About emotional.
Because if you look at the emotional or lack of emotional intelligence today, you are watching children younger and younger committing suicide.
Yes.
Now, while there's a biological component to that, a lot of that has to do with children not knowing on how to regulate their emotions effectively. Right? So regulation of your emotion is part developmental in the brain, and the other part are skills learned. So even if I wanted to go out on a limb and says, okay, the prefrontal cortex, where the emotional regulator lies, is underdeveloped, someone in the environment needs to teach that child how to self-soothe.
Yeah.
Not yell at them, not tell them they're stupid, not tell them about what they should be doing that they're not doing,
Yes.
for them to show them how to be able to deal with emotions. And I'll tell you today, in the line of work that I do, I have a lot of parents or a lot of family members, caretakers, that will say, well, my loved one buries their emotions. And I go, well, what do you do with your emotions? And then they don't have an answer for me. And I'm like, well, where do you think they learned it from?
Yeah.
Right? You're
It's
so
the top
focused,
behavior.
yeah, you're so focused on the drugs and alcohol, and you're so focused on the bad things that they're doing in life. But let's take it back to the beginning of time. And in the beginning of time, caretakers are responsible to teach. We are responsible to guide. And the way we do that is through how we live our lives. You know, I grew up in an environment as do as I say, not as I do.
Absolutely.
And many of us grew up in that type of environment. And that's not okay, because you're not teaching integrity, you're teaching hypocrisy.
Yep.
Right? So people are just going to go up and say, well, I saw that. And I'm not saying that that should be an excuse, But at the end of the day, behavior is learned. So when you're looking at someone's poor behavior, you have to look at where they learned it from. Now, a lot of people will get into debates with me and be like, well, they didn't learn it in the home. I beg to differ because those were the very first relationships that were formed,
Mhm.
right? So we have to take a personal responsibility. I'm not blaming anybody and I'm not saying that you're at fault. What I'm saying is that as a collective, yes, we are influenced in all areas of our lives. But before you get so hung up on how the child is behaving, it comes to the terrible twos. My grandson is 2 years old right now, and everybody wants to say he's in his terrible twos. And I said, change your verbiage. He's
Yeah.
2. He's developing. He's starting to be aware. He's
Like
being
he has a
introduced
finger and
in
he acknowledges the finger. Like,
stimulation. He's learning more words and putting sentences together. There's a lot going in that brain that a lot of people don't,
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
that is so
right?
true.
And then you
Because
start
it's a
to
perfect time to start developing things. I mean, honestly, because they're curious, they're sponges, and it's
Yep.
the perfect time. Instead of saying terrible twos, now let's have exploration and learning opportunities where you
Yeah.
can.
well, he has a lot of tantrums, right? And so many kids have tantrums. Why is a child having a tantrum? Because they are feeling, they don't know, the
Mm.
brain doesn't know how to regulate the feeling. They haven't learned a coping skill. The body is expressing it. That's what a
Mm.
So
adults
That
have.
is
that's
good.
why it's called terrible twos because they can't manage their
So
emotions.
listen, we got terrible 20s and
We
30s
have
and
terrible
40s.
50s and
It
60s,
is.
baby. We got
We have
yes,
adults that are having tantrums. It just looks a
Yes.
little bit different. And then they want to
yes,
justify that, I'm mad and I have a right to do this and I have a right to do that.
Yes.
But the 2 year
yes.
old doesn't have a right to do it when they, more than you, haven't even fully developed yet.
But you know what?
That
People
is
don't
so
see that
good.
for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I think that they don't equate the two because, like you said, a 2 year old is learning how to manage their emotions or
Learning.
learning this and I want this and I can't have it. Then maybe if I act a fool, somebody will give it to me. Let me try that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing trial and error trying to figure it out. As a grown adult, we still feel like if I cuss them out, they're gonna do what I said, or if I go out
Yeah.
here and do this,
Yeah,
if I
I'm gonna
go
beat them
obligation.
down. Like, what is that gonna
or
do?
shut down and don't talk to you, oh, you're gonna come around, oh, you're gonna wish you talked to me. I mean, we have so many things that we feel like, and it's all coming down to manipulation and control. You want somebody else to do what you want them to do. So either you're going to throw a terrible two tantrum, or you're gonna use your emotions in another
So
manner.
here's what that tells me based on what you just described. That adult is still emotionally mature of a 2 year old. So you might
Mm.
look like you're 40, you might look like you're 50, but your behavior right now tells me that
It's-
you're 2 years old. And until you can learn to regulate those emotions, this conversation's over. That's where that boundary comes in.
But then, but then when you walk away, then this terrible too. I know you ain't gonna just walk away from me. I
Oh, yes,
know
I am. You haven't met me.
that's enough. But I'm saying, and then they go into, they can start as a calm trauma, and then it just keep on building up because I'm trying to get away from your emotions right now.
Yes, but then legally they have termed it when people go over and beyond where they need
To
to,
have a
crimes
restraint.
of passion. You know what I'm saying? When somebody kills you in a crime of passion, or whatever, because your emotions have escalated
Yeah.
to a degree where you can control it. So your response was, "Oh, so you're gonna walk away from me? I'm gonna pick up this knife and put it in
Let
your back
me
and now kill
let,
you."
let me spit some education on that real quickly and very similar, just like addiction and the way the brain works. When your prefrontal cortex is emotionally stressed and overwhelmed and you're not regulating emotion, the prefrontal cortex goes to sleep, the brain goes into defense mode, and you're operating from your survival part of your brain. So people who kill in crimes of passion that you're speaking of is actually operating from the survival part of their brain, which is instinct. They're no longer operating from the prefrontal cortex. So, in an instinctual mind, we operate from a place of obsessive, compulsive, impulsive, manipulative. We will do whatever it takes to protect ourselves.
Mm,
There's a psychological shift that's happening in the mind
mm.
of individuals when they have these, crimes of passion. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what people fail to understand about emotional intelligence, because if I had been more
This is
aware
good.
and
That's
taking
so
care of myself
good.
emotionally, I'm less likely. You don't want to be bothered with me. I am so worth it and I am so of value. Take a walk. I'll catch you on the flip side. You
Yeah.
understand?
Right, but a person who is not there, they're going to force you to do whatever, which leads into, the molestations and other
Yeah.
sexual abuse type of situations, or into physical abuse situations, because you're going to make somebody, you're going to shake the mess out of them until they listen to you or do what you say or smack, you know what I'm saying? Because physical violence is a manifestation of the heightened emotional.
Same thing. Yeah. The physical reaction, your need to do what you're doing to that extreme is because so what's happening psychologically is the brain is so emotionally stressed. It's telling the brain's a computer. It's telling the brain that you're in harm's way, that there's a threat, right? And
Mm,
so when you
okay.
feel abandoned, when you feel alone, when you feel rejected, it is heightened to a degree that the brain is saying that you're so stressed over what you're feeling. You don't know how to regulate the emotion. And so the brain is telling you, it's like a warning sign that there's a threat coming. And so that's why the prefrontal cortex goes to sleep, it lays dormant. And so the survival part of your brain is a built-in defense mechanism. Everybody has an automatic defense mechanism in the brain that protects you from that stress. Well, here's the kicker about emotional maturity and healing. If I never heal emotionally and learn to emotionally mature, get ready for this. I need everybody to evaluate yourselves. We are still operating today from a survival state of mind. That means you have not shifted psychologically back to the logical, to the prefrontal cortex, where you can thrive and function, to where you can have healthy perceptions, make healthy decisions. Everything is still coming from that survival instinct part of the brain. So I need people
Mm,
to think about this. There's a lot of people out here who have not healed, choose not to heal, tell me that they don't have time to invest in themselves to heal. So what you're telling me right now is that you are willing to make major life decisions for you, your husband, your spouse, your whoever, your kids, and in life from the
yeah.
survival part of your brain.
Yeah. And those same people, Tasha, are running businesses, are running companies,
Are
are
running our country.
running the
Are,
country.
are running the country. Exactly.
Those same
Woo.
people.
Yep. And then we take sides. We as people then now take sides. So what are you really taking a side on?
But you're taking a side a lot of times, and this is just in any situation, you're taking a side based on the representative that you see,
The
because you
rep
have no idea
that
what this
representatives.
person is like behind closed doors. You
Correct.
don't know that
Correct.
they blow up and act crazy and drag somebody and treat them wrong and do these things, or you have no idea
I had
what's
a
going on.
I had a boss who was 35 years in sobriety. He went to AA meetings 2, 3 times a day. He was well known in the community. He drove a really fancy car, and everybody just knew this man, right? And you hear 35 years in recovery, and like, wow, that's a long time in recovery.
Right.
Solid man, this, that, and the other. That man used to put his hand on his wife behind closed doors, and he used to yell at me because I was his right hand. He would close the door and yell at me like like I was just, excuse my language, but a piece of crap.
I
Out in the
believe it.
community, everybody just adored him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Behind closed doors, he had absolutely no respect for women, right? So that is just an example of, you do not judge a book by its cover.
Don't.
You cannot.
But
Or by the accomplishments, because a lot of people,
Yes.
oh, well, they're
By their
respecting the community, and
accomplishments.
they are this and that, and
Yeah.
held this office for so long, or she's such and such and such, and we fall into the trap, like you say,
you put him on a pedestal.
putting them on a pedestal, and even trying to justify certain behaviors, because people say, well, he's just a man, and this and the other, but
Mhm.
doesn't justify
They
So
certain
don't just,
behaviors.
yeah.
Like, we gotta get out of here, because y'all know,
We
look, this right
do.
here, look, this
We
right
do,
here.
because this will go into a deeper and deeper and deeper. but we pray that you're getting something out of this. If you
Yes.
and don't try to take it all. If you only get one, congratulations. Take your run and run with it because we think we're
Yes.
supposed to get it all like right now. You've been living with it how many years now?
Mhm.
Like, so it's
But even
okay.
just to open your mind, even if you don't, it's really an eye opener for you to recognize, wow, it's some things that I never even realized, or I'm, just now understanding. And because of that, I need to start looking at some things a little bit clearer, a little bit more deeper,
Be more
and
aware.
being more aware, because it's a process, y'all.
It's
It's a
just a
process for
process.
healing. It's a process to anything in life.
Yes.
So, Miss
But
Phyllis,
I believe God. Do you believe God? We believe God. We believe God. We believe God. We believe God that we can get past these emotions.
Amen.
We believe God that these emotions will not continue to control our life. Like
Amen.
the emotions are controlling our actions, our movement, and
our
what we're afraid to
passion.
do. Like we won't even step out because of some emotions. So getting healed for real is saying, here I am, God. Yeah, a messed up mess, but I'm ready to do the healing for real. So I believe, God, we will see you back on tomorrow. If you're available, we are interviewing Angela Lewis tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. East. No,
7 Central, 8 Eastern.
did I say E? 7C, 8E. Okay, the C and the E. Uh, so tune in as she talks about how becoming her became a thought pattern. So
Mm.
follow us this evening. I believe God, we will be back tomorrow. Have a winning Wednesday.
Bye, everyone.
She froze.